Good morning everyone and welcome back to another video. This week is meant to be really sunny, so let's keep our fingers crossed that it stays as is predicted. If you're not from the UK, you won't realise that we need a bit of sun. We haven't had any sun this year so far, so this week is meant to be, I think 20 degrees is like the hottest temperature on Friday. We're currently on Monday, but it's around 16 to 20 degrees all week, which does sound freezing cold, and it is quite cold. But in the UK, it's nice weather, so this week should be a really lovely week. As it's getting a bit warmer and a bit more spring-summer-esque, I thought it'd be a really good opportunity to give the house a bit of a spring refresh and a bit of a spruce up. This room, I never really feature on my channel or on my Instagram. I don't really feature it at all because it's usually Chad's office. So I've cleared out everything that's usually in here. Apologies if it's a bit echoey. But I thought it would be a really nice time to decorate this room, make it look a bit nicer, give it a bit of a spring clean, and reset this room. I know a lot of people hate the word reset, but we're going to use it. A few weeks ago, I also did show you, if you were watching then, if you haven't, go back into my videos and you'll see, but I did actually show you that we picked up some side tables from Royal Tunbridge Wells. They're really lovely side tables. They're not actually matching, but they look similar enough for it to not be odd. I know you can have different bedside tables, but I'm not really that sort of person. I do like a similarity between the bedside tables. So enough of me ranting. I will show them to you in a second, but I also wanted to talk about today's sponsor of the video, Emma Sleep. We have had an Emma mattress in this room for the whole time that we've lived in this house. This room gets quite hot. I don't know why, because it's not south facing, but it does get quite warm in here. We thought that a new mattress that was better at regulating your temperature would be more suited to this room. So we actually have a new mattress from Emma that we're going to pop in now, make it look really pretty and decorate it a little bit more than it was decorated already. So let's get started. Right, so we have gone for the Emma ThermoSync mattress. It's designed to help regulate your body's temperature, so it's ideal if you either get too hot when you're sleeping or too cold when you're sleeping. One thing I love about Emma as well is the fact that they stand by the quality of their products, so they will offer a 10-year guarantee, which is incredible, and also a 200-night sleep trial. So if by the end of the 200 nights you're not happy with it, you can return it free of charge, which I think is absolutely incredible. This mattress is also rated the best hybrid mattress by Ideal Home, and especially for regulating your body's temperature. So I'm really excited to give this a go. I actually might have to sleep in here to test this out, so Chad might be thankful that we've got a new mattress. But without further ado, let's get started. Before I roll out this mattress, I actually thought it'd be a really good time to put on a valance that I just bought. I always say that I really want to experiment with patterns, so we're going to try this striped valance, which is going to go underneath this mattress. So let me just put this on really quickly, and then we can do the rolling out of the new mattress. This does feel really comfortable. Next, we're going to pop on the bedding. I still have the one set of blue bedding. The whole theme for this room, if you can tell, was a balance of blues. So we've got some blue bedding. We're going to add it now. This does feel really comfy though, so I might just have a quick 5-minute break, guys. It won't make a difference to you. Okay, back to work. First, we're going to pop down the bedding. I only have a flat sheet for this. I don't know where the other fitted sheet's gone, so we're going to go old school and use a flat sheet. And I don't know how this goes on to this. this does need a good steam in a minute. So we're going to pop this on, and then I actually do have a handheld steamer, which I do like to go over at the end and make it nice and crisp for guests. I also have so many cushions. Is this one too much blue stripe or not enough? Let's have a look. Right, let me know guys, thoughts. Too many pillows, not enough? I think it's too many. I also like the bed to be a bit messy. I don't like a perfectly made army bed. Right, hopefully now we're getting the vision for the bedroom. Then I will just pop these bedside tables in. Hopefully you can see these. I think you can. Can you see them? If not, I'll bring you in closer. But these are the ones we picked up in Tunbridge Wells a few weeks ago. They're really beautiful, red-ish marble tops that sort of complement the reddy pinkish accents in here. Again, I am going to change the ceiling. Don't know what I was thinking with the pink ceiling, but it does sort of tie in with this room quite well. These need a quick dust and a quick clean. This should be a better angle of the antique tables. I'm sure these were like wash stands once upon a time. Don't really want to know what this was used for in the old days. But it comes with this really beautiful wood like motif on it. Slightly different to the other one if you can see. The other one just has a simple like knob in place of this one. But they are very similar, but still quite different, which I love. This one on top, unfortunately the marble has cracked in half. If you can see here, it has been glued back together, but it's missing a chunk here. I do still love them. And I think sometimes broken antiques tell more of a story than fixed ones. So yeah, again, this one needs a good clean. I haven't been to a florist recently, but obviously in a room, especially for a spring refresh, it's nice to have some flowers and some freshly cut things. So I've just gone into the garden and I've cut what I can. I've cut some ferns, I've cut some skimmia. These are sort of just going over now, but these do still smell really lovely. And then I've just cut some leaves off the angelica because it seems to be wilting. I'm not too sure if it's underwatered in the side alley. This looks like a nice little bouquet as it is, but I don't know if you guys remember, a few weeks ago we bought these tiny little bud vases in the shapes of like buds. So what I like to do is just display some delicate little florals inside of them. Let's do a quick demonstration right now. So I think they look really pretty with just a mixture of like ferns, like an angelica leaf in there maybe, another shorter skimmia, and they create these really pretty but really quite delicate posies of flowers. I'm not sure if that looks nice on camera. It does look nice in real life. Sometimes things don't come across. They're not ugly, they just don't come across well. But yeah, I think these are just a really lovely way of adding some greenery into the house, even when there's not that many flowers outside. Or if you can't even get to a florist really, it's nice just to be able to go into the garden and see what you have. I think they're quite pretty. And also they're quite impactful because when you put them in threes, I like to do 3 bud vases at once. So this one is a shorter one. You then have a taller bud vase, which you can do with like a taller or maybe shorter. It really is up to you. But let me just do this now. And then I think we're nearly done with our little spring refresh in the guest bedroom. And there we have it, guys. This is the finished bedroom transformation slash refresh slash reset. As always, I would love to know your thoughts. Do you like the colours? Do you like the patterns? Do you think they clash? Please do leave a comment and let me know. Thank you again to Emma for sponsoring today's video. Emma are actually running an Easter sale at the moment and you can get up to 20% off. And they have also very kindly given me a discount code for an extra 8% off. So to get an extra 8% off, then please use code ASHMAZZINA8. I will leave the link in the description and I will also pop the QR code on the screen now for you to make it a bit easier. But yeah, I really like how this room is looking. Thank you, Emma, for making me have a little spring Easter refresh. Otherwise it wouldn't have been done. But yeah, onwards with the day. For the rest of the day, we don't really have much on. We do have to pop to an event at midday, which should be quite fun. So obviously we'll take you along to that with us. But other than that, I think I'm just going to potter around in the garden. I actually bought some window boxes a few weeks ago from Burford Garden Company, and I've not really done anything with them since. I popped some ivy into the bathroom one, but I've just gone to the garden centre yesterday and picked up some plants. So I might get put that up with you guys and then see where the rest of the day takes us. This is quite possibly the weirdest angle I've ever filmed anything on. But we've just gone to the garden centre yet again. I was saying to Chad a second ago, I think this week, or the past week, we've spent, I don't even know how much, on plants and garden stuff. But we had these window boxes from Burford Garden Company that we bought a few weeks ago from the Cotswolds. And I just wanted to pop some little things in them. So we've got some, I think it's either French or Spanish lavender. I've got three in total, so I think I'm going to pop 2 of the French lavenders in here with some of my trailing plants, and I think once these grow it's going to like billow out and look really lovely. The actual plant pot itself is quite small in comparison to the window, but I think, as I just said, when these grow it will sort of fill the negative space without looking too overcrowded. So yeah, we're going to pop some, I think they're called crocs in the bottom of this, broken terracotta pots, just to help with the drainage, and then I'm just going to reuse some soil from the bathtubs because I didn't want to queue for the soil. But yeah, let's get to that really quickly. Where's my shovel gone? All done. I'm just going to give this a quick sweep and then I will show you what this looks like. Hopefully it grows, but it's not very sunny down this side alley, and lavender is a sun-loving plant, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I think it looks quite pretty for now. This is really quick, but I'm just going to make, for the first time ever, a carrot pasta. I'm going to let you guys know how this goes. It's a carrot and miso orecchiette. So hopefully this is nice. Chad's looking at me like a weirdo behind the camera. But when we went to Puglia, yep, there was a really nice restaurant that we went to. We took my mum and my dad and my sister there. and they had a carrot orecchiette dish. And I can't remember the name of the restaurant, but we're going to try and recreate it now. I'm not sure if that one had miso in it, so this one might taste quite different, but long story short, Chad's rolling his eyes that I'm talking too long. So
I'm not.
We're going to get cooking.
God, you are a victim, aren't you?
I am always a victim.
Always a victim.
But yeah, I'll let you know what it's like when we finish. That's not that one. There you go, done. So we just found these branches. We didn't break them. If you can see the ends, a van clearly reversed into them down the street. So we thought we'll take them and salvage them, and they can go in a nice floral display in the lounge, I think, or the dining room. But yeah, let's go and take them inside. Alright, so I've just filled up my vase. This is the biggest vase I have. And this branch maybe doesn't look very big, but this one's okay in size. It's just quite an ugly shape, so I'm gonna have to cut this one down, I think. This branch has a cross branch coming across it, so I might have to cut this, I'm not too sure. I might actually try and keep it in the same shape. Didn't realise this vlog was just gonna be complete spring. It was just by chance that we took like a different turn to come back home, and down one of the streets, one of these, these branches had been sort of broken, so I think I'm gonna get to chopping. I'm gonna definitely chop the ends off to make them survive hopefully a little bit longer. Ooh. In the vase. And then what we might do after this is I might start cooking some lunch. I've got a really lovely recipe for an ottolenghi salad that we've never tried before, so we might give that a go. Oh, there you go. It's not the worst shape in the world. I hope you can see it in the camera. But let's get to cutting this one. This one is literally the size of our house, so it must be what? 7 foot, 8 foot nearly? I kind of don't want to chop it, but we're going to have to. I might try and keep this main branch as long as possible, so let's try and cut this. I think these have just run out of battery. I've had these for, I don't even know how long, since I started YouTube. And they've just run out of battery. I've never actually charged them before, so we might have to give this a minute, charge them up, and then come back to it. I just watched that clip back and I realised all my picture frames in the behind were wonky, so that's now been fixed. I've also just charged these really quickly for like 5 minutes. Honestly, I always say this is not sponsored, but these secateurs literally saved my life. I actually might buy another pair to keep in the car so that when we go foraging, we can like keep them in the car and it's just a bit easier. But these are absolutely incredible big stems. So I'm going to show you again. You basically hold down. And this one's going to take a few goes because it's a very thick stem. But it literally just cuts straight through anything. One last one. There you go, sorted. So now, this branch is still too big. Is it too big? Let me try and pop it in and see what happens. I think these are going to be... Are they going to be in the water? Yeah, we're going to have to cut these smaller ones off. That's okay though. So this one's going to come off. All of these. And then what we'll do, nearly, we'll flesh out the middle. Do you know what, I might cross that in there because there's like a little Y shape. There you go. Flesh out the middle with a bit more. So this one probably can just go in as is. Oh. They're gonna have to come off. Sorry, little flowers. This does take a lot of fiddling. I don't know if anyone else is like this when they do floral displays, but I literally have to change it hundreds of times. This one is going to be probably too short, but what we'll do put that one in that way. That might look a bit silly. I might have to pop that in a different vase. I think I'm gonna have to lean that one that way instead. And then this one, we could probably cut here, and then pop in just about there. This one's too long. I really don't want to cut it, but it is too long. That's a shame. What we'll do, we'll cut it. I reckon here. And then I'm probably going to leave a little bit of this thicker stem. It's too, yeah, I think I'm gonna need to cut it again. Okay, what it is, I think it's this one here that needs to be cut down just ever so slightly because it's just a little bit too big. There you go, I think that's now perfect. Okay, there we go. Let's go and try and pop this somewhere. Right, so I always say this. This book, Ottolenghi Simple, for spring summer, it has so many options for just like picky bits basically. So loads of dishes that you can share. It's very much tapasy inspired. But we cook from this book, or we used to cook from this book religiously. And as we're getting into the spring summer, we're going to try and get back into it. So there is a salad in here that I think is a Swiss chard. Let me try and find it. Good. So if you have the Ottolenghi Simple book, it's page... No, that's not it. I took a picture the other day, hold on. Right, so it's page 72 if you have the Ottolenghi Simple book. So page 72, hopefully the lighting in here is okay. We all know that it's quite a dark room. So it's a tomato, chard and spinach salad with toasted almonds. I think it's like lukewarm, I'm not too sure, but it says you can serve with rice or sprinkled with feta, the good accompaniment for fish or chicken served warm or at room temperature. And we've never tried this one before, so I'm gonna get to cooking this. Hopefully it's nice, otherwise I'm giving you bad recommendations, but usually this book is incredible. I will say, if you want to cook a good dish for a party, there are a few that we like to do. So there's a peanut butter chickpea and miso like salad that has radishes, it's got cucumber. I'll link that one down below because Chad usually makes that and it always goes down really well. There's also a Marbella chicken, which is like a lovely oregano chicken with white wine. There's just so many, but this book, basically, advocating for this book, if you don't have this, you need it. And if you do have it, you will know how much I love it. But let me get the ingredients out and we can get to cooking. Right, so step one, you need a pan with a lid. I only have this old one, so I always find, I don't know if anyone else cooks with these, the always pans, but I always find they don't cook as hot as the stainless steel pans, but maybe it's because we have an induction hob. But let me know your thoughts. I see a lot of people raving about them, and we've had it for about 5 years, and I don't really reach for it that often. Maybe they've improved their selection. Maybe I should buy a new one, I'm not too sure, but if anyone has an always pan, do let me know. We also need olive oil, flaked almonds, paprika, caraway seeds, garlic cloves, tomatoes, Swiss chard, spinach, dill, spring onions, mint, limes, salt. So we're gonna pop some of our citizen soil oil in our saucepan, and then I think the first step is to just add paprika and almonds, wait till they brown, take them off, and then I think you just chuck everything else in basically. With the herbs first, garlic, and then you add the veg, cover it for 20 minutes, and bish bash bosh. you're done. Okay, so we've got our almonds. Let me put in this. They do burn quite quickly, so I would say keep an eye on that. I just went upstairs for like literally 1 minute and I've come back down and they're not burnt, but they are cooked. So don't walk away from the oven. Top tip from me. And next we're just gonna pop some oil, caraway seeds and garlic, and then sizzle, add the tomato chard, salt, and crush the tomatoes, and then it just cooks for 20 minutes so you can get on with your chores or your work and then come back to this and then your lunch should be ready. I might cook a little bit of rice with this just to make sure you've got some small amount of carb, but you could have this by itself, I guess. With the Swiss chard, if you've never seen it before, it's really beautiful. I think this is called rainbow chard. Don't hold me to that. But you have to slice, for this recipe anyway, you have to slice the stems and you're gonna cut around the stem at the top and then chop the leaves into like smaller bits. But I'm just gonna do that now and then pop them into the pan. So what you're left with is basically sort of like a tomato sauce. I've decided to do some fried chickpeas, so I've just pan fried some chickpeas, but with this we're just going to add in some spinach. So let's quickly wash the spinach. Okay, so we add some spinach in, and then we're just going to squeeze in a lime, add some dill and some spring onion. And then I'm just going to serve them up into these bowls. So this should be a nice, healthy, warm sort of salad-esque side. I do really like having sides as opposed to like cooking a whole main for lunch. Obviously this isn't meant to be a dish by itself, but I think it looks quite nice. So we're just going to pop some spring onions and some dill. That's quite a lot of dill. Hopefully Chad likes dill. Like I said, I've just pan fried some chickpeas, so we'll put some chickpeas in there. And then finally, we finish off with the toasted almonds and paprika. Those chickpeas I just lightly sauteed in olive oil and paprika, so again they've got that same flavour. And these almonds smell absolutely incredible as well. And then last step, sorry, is just lime for garnish. So we'll pop that over everything. You should see the background of this kitchen. I'm such a messy cook, but this is the finished result. I think this looks quite delightful. So I'm going to give this one to Chad and then I will try this with you. Taste test time. I always forget to try these dishes with you guys. Those toasted chickpeas, pan-fried chickpeas, really good shout. As always, I will leave the recipes linked below. But if you're looking for a salad to cook on like a coldish summer day, this is a really good option, and this would be really lovely in when you're hosting, I guess, when you've got like dishes, small plates you want to bring out to people. This is really nice. I approve. I'm going to go enjoy this in the garden and then see where the day takes us. I don't really have that much planned today because I've got a lot of work I need to do, so you might not see me for the rest of today. Hopefully you will, but you might not see me. I do actually need to go and clean the limestone tiles out the back, so if I think that's interesting enough, I might include that. But I did order some like cleaner for the rust that's on the limestone. So let me finish this first and then I'll see what kind of mood I'm in. So this room is the main bedroom. And again, I don't really share this room with you guys a lot. I think you'll be used to all the paint colours on the back wall. If you're new to the channel, for the past, 3 years, the room has just been the exact same. It was the first room we painted because it was the room we moved into. Whilst the house was being done up, we lived in this room pretty much constantly. Chad worked from this room, we slept from this room, we ate dinner in this room. We really didn't have anywhere else to go that was like clean. So this room was the first room to be painted, carpeted. And then since then, we've not really done anything to it. Even the paintwork is quite a shoddy job. These cupboards on the insides haven't been painted properly, and there's just a lot we need to do. But I'd like to announce that I've actually chosen a paint colour finally, and we're going to be doing that this weekend. I'm not going to share that with you until like maybe next week or the week after, but just know that there is a colour on the wall right now that is the final colour. It's quite bold. I really want to tease the colour, but I also kind of want to keep it a surprise. So let me know your thoughts and what you think the colour will be. Do you think it'll be red, green, blue, brown? I really tried every single sample on the walls. It could be anything. This room is south facing and it gets light all day long, and the amount of sunlight it gets is really, really lovely. So whether we keep it light or whether we go dark, I think it will look lovely either way. I did order cornice for this room a few weeks ago. It's probably a few months ago now, but I actually cancelled the order because I just didn't love the cornice, and I still haven't found a cornice that I really, really want to put in the whole of the upstairs. I want something that's quite decorative, not just sort of an acanthus leaf. I want something a bit more like floral and a bit more playful and a bit more decorative, and I've yet to discover a cornice company that will offer something like that. So still undecided on that. If anyone has any recommendations for UK-based cornice companies, I know of like Plaster Ceiling Roses, Stevenson's of Norwich. If there's some smaller, more independent plaster companies, I'm not sure. Let me know. I'm always interested to see what your recommendations are. I also did just get a delivery in the post. If you cast your memory back to when we went to the Sanderson collaboration and their design house in Chiswick, I'll try and overlay the videos now, but we actually came across two wallpapers that were absolutely stunning. Both were from Zophany, which are under the Sanderson group. This, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but this is the one I sort of fell in love with. The tones of the colours are quite pale blues and like neutrals with pops of like a really muted orange. Let me try and see if the camera picks this up. So this was one sample. And then this was the same wallpaper, but just a different section. This is what the actual pattern looks like, and the repeat. It's called Peacock Garden, and it's in the colour linen/silver. But it's a really beautiful wallpaper, and as you know, I really want something for the toilet room in the bathroom. My fear with this one is that it's quite a large repeat, and that room is really small, so I don't think that one will work, but I do think somewhere in the house I'd love to use that. And the other one that we sort of really fell in love with in that showroom, again I'll pop it on the screen now, is called Lost Lands Mineral. The annoying thing about this sample is they've just sent me a blank piece of wallpaper, which clearly on the back of the design is the sky. If you can see, it's this section up here. So not the most useful wallpaper sample, and it's actually quite annoying because I'm gonna have to order another one now. But this one's really beautiful, and if I could redo the guest bedroom, I think I'd use something like this. It's more earthy, more neutral, less blue, so less cooler, but it's really lovely. So maybe in a year's time when I get bored of that guest bedroom, I can redo it. And then I also ordered some fabric samples. These are all from Sanderson as well. There was one more wallpaper actually that's really beautiful, and I'd really love this in a fabric. It's called Mughal Menagerie Indigo/Madder. Let me show you this up close again. I think there's like peacocks. It's more of an animal print, this one. I'm not even sure what's on here, but it's a really beautiful, kind of like a tapestry. And then when you get the full wallpaper, it comes with like a border edging. But I'm going to see if they have a fabric in this, because I actually would like to make some bedspreads and some... I don't want to reupholster the bed in a fabric like this, but I'd like to do something with more pattern. All the curtains need to be changed, and I'm on a hunt for like getting fabrics for curtains as well. We then got this Artisan Palampour Russet. These all look so different. It's why you need to order samples. But on the website, it was really beautiful. Nice, like deep red tones. It might look nice on some like cushions or something. I need to remind myself of what that looks like. And then this one as well, Tree of Life Spice, is a really lovely option. So I've got a few to look through. I did not like this one at all. What was this? Arden Tapestry. This one is just not my vibe at all. It's a really lovely print, but the colours just do not go with my taste. But yeah, I'm going to remind myself of what they are, and then I might place some orders for like bigger fabrics so I can get bedspreads made, some cushions, and then fabrics for the curtains because they need to all be changed. So yeah, there's a little mini bedroom update here. Hopefully in the next week or two I can share this whole room with you, and obviously I will be sharing the whole process of us changing everything, so it should be really fun. I'm just going to take you guys into the garden with me now and hopefully clean that limestone slab. I did buy some rust remover to get the stains out of the limestone, so hopefully this works. But yeah, let's go get into the garden. It's a really lovely day still, so let's go make the most of the sun. Okay, really boring, but this is the rust remover. I've just opened this and this smells like absolute chemicals, so I'm going to put some gloves on. It's the Floor Seal Rust Remover for stone, and I'm going to take you out and show you what we need to clean, but it's basically rust that's like come off the fire pit. Oh, this stuff absolutely stinks. I'm not sure what this is. I might test this in like a different area first just to make sure it's not going to stain the limestone, but let's go and get suited and booted. We're going to try this out. Chad's on gardening duty. We're putting out all of the gora that we planted because it's all died. So Chad's doing that. These were the gora that we planted last year, I think, late in the winter. He's also doing all the weeding, so Chad's doing that, and then I'm going to get onto this good old rust stain. This is the stuff, like I just said, it's Floor Seal Rust Remover for stone. It absolutely stinks, so I've got some good old marigolds I'm going to pop on and then get to scrubbing this. So, gloves are on. This must be the most boring, bizarre YouTube video I've ever filmed. Okay, ensure that the surface is dry prior to the application of this product. Apply a generous amount of the product to the affected area. Let's do a little bit first. So we're going to do this bit here, maybe. And give it a good scrub. Ooh. Okay, so it's turning purple. Is it meant to do that? I don't know. I think so. Well, this is really weird. Oh my god, I think it's coming out. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's turning purple. This is stressing me out a little bit. I think it's working. It's definitely doing something. I think that's basically come out. Let's try it on these bits down here. I'm going to pray to Lord Jesus that this doesn't ruin the other limestone slabs. But we'll do it on this cross first. We've got quite a few stains across the whole of the garden, so next time we will be putting pads on the furniture. But this is definitely coming out. I do think there is a dark shadow though from where it has been, so... Chad, this stuff is incredible. Look, so you put it on and it turns purple, but then when you like scrub it, it like that's the chemical reaction, I think. And then it's like completely come off. Isn't that really good? It absolutely stinks though. Okay, so hopefully you can see now, the cross was around here somewhere and it's completely disappeared. So I highly recommend using that product. I will leave it links below if you guys have the same issue, then definitely use it. It hasn't got down to these older stains though. So I think I'm gonna let this all dry and then give it another try. But there was an older one over here that you can see has sort of vanished a little bit, but it's still not perfect. But what I'll do, I'll let it all dry and I'll start scrubbing another time. Okay, so quick Wisteria update. It's looking really good. I hope the camera's picking this up, but it's looking really, really lovely. All of the bees are like flooding around them and they are starting to fully come out. So I reckon within the next week, these will all be completely out. And then I've shown you these before. These are the roses on the right-hand side of the house. They do have supports in them, these ones, but obviously they're not tall enough to get there just yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one, I think, around here. I ordered these off Amazon and they came like next day. So we're going to pop these into the wall and then get some support popped in for these roses. So I'm going to need about this much wire. So let's cut that there. And then, oh, I might have cut that a bit short. If you guys have learnt one thing about me, it's that I don't measure. Measure twice, cut once. Measure 0 times, cut 1,000,000 times. Okay, so on one end you put these tension rods, and on the other end you put these little like U pieces that you create. You basically create the other end like this. So one side's going to be this, the other side's going to be this, and then you can make it tighter. Right, so I've now got my pliers. So what you need to do, I'm sure you all know, but you got the steel wire. You then have this like little thing. You're not going to get any technical terms from me, but basically what you do is you pop the metal connectory thing through the wire, if I can do that, like so. You then loop it around itself. Kind of need more hands for this. You then loop it around itself, and then you pop the other end through, like that, and then it creates your little hooky thing, but you need to do it on the actual hook itself, so that creates the tension. So we're going to hook it through, yeah, on this end as well, and then the little like U shape goes between the wire and the I realise I don't have any technical terms, I don't know what I'm talking about, but let me bring you closer. But basically, don't take advice from me, but the hook goes underneath between the wire and this part, and then you just tighten this and then get your little pliers and then join that together, and that becomes really secure. Okay, this is the end result. This is where the wire is. I'm just going to tighten that now. It's very taut, so it's going to do its job. I've just popped it behind, I've popped the roses, sorry, behind the wire now, just to see how they get on for a few days. I know I should tie these in with some like rope, but I'm just going to leave it like this for now, see how it performs. But this one is already reaching this line. I said to Chad, these would be a really lovely option. But like when they get up here, I'm a bit concerned as to what we do with them. So we might just have to chop them down to get loads of flowers, but these are doing really well as well. I planted these with you guys a few months ago now, and they're just booming. The reason they love this place, I think, is because it's a south-facing like front garden. There's no wind. It's just, they're basking in sun all day long, aren't they?
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think that the leaves love it. I think the flowers struggle.
Yeah, the flowers, so this is one of the flowers coming through. It's Claire Austin?
Yeah, white Claire Austin.
White Claire Austins, but they have like a pinky hue to them as they're coming out.
Mm-hmm. Oddly though, there's only 2 buds.
Yeah, there's only 2 at the moment, but
and they're right next to
I think May is the time for roses, so I'll leave it a few days, see how they like alter, but I do think we need to chop a few back because it needs a bit of air between it. But I was just saying about these wisteria though, they're starting to like look really, really lovely, and the whole tops of them. But yeah, I'm just saying the same thing over and over again.
Welcome to my house. Trips.
Right, you're on our windowsill.
It is very bright.
It's the best lighting. Chad's just found this spot. It might seem very dusty in here because
Because it is.
Because it is. We had all the windows open and it's just very dusty in here. So it happens when you have an old house.
But what are we here to discuss?
We were just going to talk about something that we've been talking about off camera. I think everyone loves the fact that we're quite chatty.
I think sometimes we forget that we're always trying to like stage something or go somewhere, and I think the videos that seem to perform the best are the ones where we're talking about things. Yeah. You know, preferably not our favourite postcodes or anything like that. But
it is linked to postcodes though, technically.
Yeah, I guess. But what did you want to discuss?
We've just been talking recently about Italy. Obviously, everyone knows that we've been wanting to move for a while. We haven't really been to any house viewings, and the reason being is, first of all, the market's just not interesting. It's not the right time to buy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a tricky one at the minute because not many people buy and sell in winter. Obviously, most people like to sell their houses in the spring and summer because it's nicer weather and the houses look better and the gardens are in bloom. So that's one thing. Two, and this extends to now, the economy's crap. The reality is everyone's taxes are going up, their bills are going up. There's lots of layoffs. There's just not a great economy, which means there's not a huge amount of buyers, even with the higher interest rates we've seen. Gone are the days of 1% mortgages. So I think generally it's just a bit sluggish. It may pick up, I'm not an expert, but everything we have seen has just been so grossly overpriced. And then 6 months later they're still on the market.
Like every house we viewed, I think, apart from that one in Islington, I think the ones in Islington sold, but the ones that are very overpriced, like extremely overpriced, they are still up for sale. So we've put a pause on our UK house endeavours, which means, to me, at least.
So basically, and we've also decided where we live, we're actually really starting to love. It's just like, I know it's going to sound cliche, but the reality is like all the people sort of moving in are really lovely. All the houses are being done up. Lots of new cafes and food places are opening. It's sort of classic East London, and we're sort of asking ourselves, like, we kind of like it here.
Is there a reason to move?
It's really booming and it will only get better, and do we really want to miss out on that?
And we have like new restaurants. I don't know if you just said, I completely blanked then a second ago, but we have new restaurants opening near us that are really like lovely.
Yeah. And then I'm just not happy with what we'll get for our money. Like when I'm looking at, we speak numbers, but when you look at like what 1.5 or something gets you in a slightly nicer area, it's just I question, like, is it worth it?
No, it's not.
And then on the flip side of that is we've come to realise that as patriotic Brits as we are, we also love getting out of this country. Especially, London's amazing for summer. Everyone knows the rule, which is in summer, stay in London, enjoy it. But, when it comes to sort of spring, winter, even autumn, so what that means is we kind of want to spend more of our time elsewhere in Italy, right, basically. So we're kind of asking ourselves, will we actually be a lot happy? We're actually happy where we are now. We're just sort of, I guess, being a bit snobby and wanting to go to the slightly nicer area or postcode or whatever, whereas we'd actually be a lot more happier spending half the year in Italy in a beautiful farmhouse in the middle of nowhere. It'd be better for us and it would be better for you guys because it means we have a whole new content stream, which is, renovating a house over there, growing our own vegetables, olive oil, wine, all these kind of amazing things. So
even before that, like the buying process in Italy, like how you buy, how to find a house. It's I think it's a really interesting topic. So
that was like a 10-minute way of basically saying we're going to prioritize looking at Italy over moving elsewhere in London. So, and that doesn't mean we'll move to Italy full time. We've always said we're going to have a London house and then an Italy house. So, I think now we're going to start searching over there a lot more seriously.
So I think we're debating whether to take maybe a couple of weeks to a month this summer.
I think more than a couple of weeks.
I think it would realistically be about a month this summer. Summer or like late summer.
Because that's never been possible because before we had Dougal and
also I had a job technically like last year, so I couldn't really up and leave.
Well, no, but you've been doing this for about a year now. But the problem was the dog, which is you can not the problem.
It's a horrible thing to say.
What I mean is
just passed away, and the problem was our dog.
What I mean is you can leave a dog with a friend or family for a week, maybe two, but no one wants to be dog sitting longer than that. And obviously, we're not going to take Dougal in a car, drive all the way to Italy, all that kind of stuff. So we didn't have that flexibility. Whereas now, sadly, we can. If we want to go and live abroad for a month or work remotely per se, we can. And I'm really jealous because all my colleagues do it. And
this is the issue. Like Chad works with a lot of people who work. Not a lot of them live in the UK. If I'm honest,
they've all left.
It's mostly abroad, and they just.
Everyone I work with who's British and has left. Like no one is staying here anymore. Like the amount of colleagues who are now planning to leave and are packing it, like they're going to Spain, Portugal, they're going to Italy.
It's just a different way of life, isn't it? So basically, you might be seeing, not immediately, but you might be seeing a little bit more of Italy than we normally show. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. Please let us know your thoughts. If you're not interested at all, you might want to...
I think we're going to go away in Italy in May, end of May, early June. We're going to go and spend kind of 2-3 weeks out there. We're going to be doing southern Tuscany. We've actually done a lot of Tuscany, but never the south. So we're going to stay around Siena, and then we're going to make our way to like Montepulciano. We're going to do some of Umbria, areas around like Todi and things like this. And then we're going to go back again in probably September.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. I think I would like to do Sicily. I think then, but that wouldn't be for like housey. That would be
we don't want to buy in Sicily. Well, we've never really looked at Sicily, never been. But I think the place. This is also another reason why we want to spend a lot of time there, because we've never explored Umbria, and from what we've heard, Umbria is literally the equivalent of Tuscany, but cheaper. And obviously, why would you not want to? And save money.
Someone also said the houses and the land bigger as well. So
that's another debate. We need to spend some time looking in Umbria as well. But it's definitely between, so far, there might be another area that we've not heard of, but between Umbria and Tuscany. But yeah, we've explored like Lucca, all those areas, but we need to explore southern Tuscany. We've got a lot to do.
Yeah.
So basically, get ready for our Italy trips 2025.
Yeah.
I feel like you're not excited.
No, I am. We go to Italy all the time, but I guess we've never documented it. In fact, if you go back through Ash's videos to his very first videos...
Please do not. We actually... No.
No, because it's really funny because you can see how different we are and the filming and the quality.
Yeah.
But we went to Positano on the Amalfi Coast, and then we did Naples, and then we did somewhere else. We went to Puglia as well, and we did lots of there. But there's 2 Italy videos there, so you can get a feel for.
The first one was we rewatched it the other day. It came up on our YouTube. It was just like suggested our own video.
Yeah.
And it was awful. Please don't watch that. It's the most embarrassing thing.
I think it's good, and in fact, people are going back and watching.
Yeah, quite a few people have commented
because I noticed it went from like 2k views to like 10.
Yeah.
So if you have done a marathon of our videos and gone all the way back and watched, well done. Oh my god, Vlogmas.
Yeah.
Also, you know how a lot of you, this is just my view, right? But a lot of YouTubers like to do Vlogmas, right? Which is you film and put out a video every day in the month of December until Christmas, which is a huge amount of work. Can you imagine that? Like filming every day, editing every day, publishing it. Ash in his first year of doing YouTube, without much of an audience, thought, I'm going to do Vlogmas. And
I don't know what possessed...
No, but it seemed logical, because the reality is, well, if I put out more videos, I'll get more views, I'll get more followers, you'll make more money.
It doesn't work like that, guys. It doesn't work like that.
All the effort, the effort Ash had to put in to do that, and the rewards were absolutely nil.
Yeah.
So I think we learned a lesson.
I'm not doing it again. This is my testimonial saying I'm not going to do it this year. Yeah. But you said the other day you'll probably get to December and want to do it, but I don't think I will. No, there's not enough.
I think it's fine if you have a really big audience, you're in the hundreds of thousands, and if you have a team. So if you have someone who films for you and you have someone who edits all your stuff for you, you can just sit back and film yourself and then let someone do the work. But Ash does all the filming, he does all the editing. Well, I do some of the filming.
I was going to say, you don't do any of the editing, thank you.
No, I don't do editing.
I don't even know.
That's peasant work. I don't do that.
Do you know what? I actually really enjoy editing. This is going off on a tangent, but Chad doesn't understand. It takes time. So say if you have like a 30-minute piece of footage, the minimum amount of time it will take you to edit it is at least 30 minutes, because you have to watch the whole thing. But Chad's like, oh, why is editing taking you so long?
Some of us are just extremely talented and can work faster and harder.
We are. Some of us are.
And some of us have borderline ADHD and can concentrate for more than 2 minutes.
I can concentrate on editing.
Yeah, until your phone goes off, and then you're watching TikToks for an hour.
True.
But anyway, Italy is, so that's the plan. I think we'll still... Don't get me wrong, I think if we see a house in London and we're like, ooh, like, looks amazing and the price is right, I think we might still go for viewings and just...
That feeling of a couple of months ago that we had an immediate rush to want to move.
Yeah.
We literally were ready to put we got a house valued and we were convinced that we were going to put it up for sale. Yeah. And that's why we were viewing so many houses, because we wanted to find somewhere. But now...
And also, now that we're considering, staying here another sort of 1 to 2 years, kind of debating whether I do a side return. I don't know if you can see...
We talked about this last week. Yeah, we mentioned that you the neighbour across the road.
Oh, well anyway, once again, I don't know if you know, but there's the window behind us. That's just a little alleyway where Ash's like buckets are.
Troughs.
Bathtubs. They're not
buckets.
troughs.
They're not buckets.
They're big buckets.
Big buckets.
Anyway, you can basically turn that into your house. So we'll have that wall behind us is gone. It's a big open plan kitchen dining area. Really just brightens up the space because you have skylights, and it's a really nice thing to do. And yeah, Ash said a few of our neighbours are getting it done, so we're asking them to share their quotes so we can sort of see if the price is right. But
yeah, but I think if we stay here, we're wanting to do that.
I think so.
I don't think loft conversion. I don't think we'd have the.
See, I kind of want to
have it in us. I just don't think we do.
The reason I wouldn't. Thing is, with a loft conversion, it's messy and it takes like 3 months.
I think it takes like 6 months. I'm honestly not too sure.
I think the average I've seen is about 3 months is about right. And you don't have to move out, but you'll have to tolerate that you'll be living on the ground floor. You'd have to move out, I think. And the prices are disgusting. Like the prices people are paying for a loft conversion, they're like up to 100k or more now, and like
really
you're
expensive.
just going to struggle to get a return on that, especially when you then have to renovate it and blah blah blah. So if prices go down on construction, then I'd entertain, because again at the minute we have the guest bedroom, which is nice, but when we have more than one group, like Christmas, you don't really want to have to say to someone like, oh, we have a blow up bed in the lounge. You want everyone to have their own room. So
but whether that's worth £100,000, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the question.
But yeah, we'll see. I think Italy, like we said, is our priority. So I'm going to get viewing properties online, like I always do. I send Chad about 10 Italian properties a day. Yeah,
but thing is, does anyone else have this, right? Ash knows the kind of property we need, right? What it should look like, how many bedrooms, and time is money. You want to be focused, not wasting your time looking at properties that aren't right.
I agree.
And Ash will send me a 26-room former hotel.
Yeah, you're right.
That we're never going to buy, would never renovate. It's way too big.
Lies. So basically, these 20-bedroom properties are like ex-hotels. Sorry, my phone just died because it overheated, so... Where was I? Let me get back to my rant. Basically, 20-bedroom properties, I will send them to Chad because they used to be hotels and they were only 20 bedrooms because they were hotels, but there's an opportunity to make them into nice, humble abodes.
Yes, but
you don't see it that way.
Ash doesn't understand that the cost of renovating a 20-bedroom, or not just buying, a lot of people forget that in Italy, it's not just like you buy a property for a lot of money and it's great. They actually have running costs that are quite expensive. So in terms of if you have land with like olive groves or grapes and you have big garden areas, it's a lot of maintenance. And because these houses are old as well, they constantly have issues with their roofs and bricks and blah blah blah. So one thing I've not told, maybe we have told, but is the desire to also commercialize this property.
Yeah.
And what I mean is it will effectively pay for itself. So we know that this will be quite a big property, big land. We'll make it lovely as we do, but we'd also entertain like doing weddings at it. So, 2-3 times a year, let a couple of weddings take place on the property. Good money. At the same time, we want to do our own wine and olive oil. If we get the wine right, that could be worth,
Not having a Scottish name, I'll tell you that.
No.
McGregor wine.
McGregor wine.
But yeah, there's a commercial aspect to the house, and that's why I send big properties, because I don't want to be renting out my Italian cottage in the middle of...
8 bedrooms is plenty. 6 to 8 bedrooms, I would say.
Yeah, but you're going to then have to vacate it for when you have weddings.
Yeah, weddings last a day or two.
No.
Literally.
I want a big fat house.
That is a big fat house. That's 6 to 8 bedrooms. And then that's 2 or 3 lounges, massive kitchen, land. Delusional.
But yeah, I find really lovely properties. There's one, I think we've ranted for 20 minutes again. There's one particular estate agent that I think is incredible. It's called, I think it's Carrot.
No, don't tell them, because they'll know.
Okay, I'm just going to bleep that one out.
We don't want the competition.
We're gatekeeping at the moment. But there's one really good estate agent that we always keep an eye on. They specialise in Tuscany. So
yeah.
I'm going to go check that now. I probably think we can stop today's video.
I think so.
We've got a lot planned.
We got a lot to do. We've got dinner tonight.
Yeah, we've got a lot planned next week as well, so we'll...
And also, I think we mentioned, while we're not doing 2 a week anymore and rushing, because credit to Ash, he has... I'm giving pity to him, which I never do in person, but he has a huge number of brand, collaborations he's working on, 7 or 8. He's also trying to do YouTube. Beyond brand videos, he has to then do just organic videos on Instagram and TikTok, and it's a lot.
Sorry for me, guys.
So
it's such a hard life.
No, but even though we've cut down to 1 a week, which
it's
I know some of you are annoyed about, that one a week on a Sunday will now be at least an hour long. So we'll make up for it for going down to one video, but usually our videos were like 30, 40 minutes maybe max.
Yeah, it equates, doesn't it? So they were normally what, 2
So we'll double the
videos.
video, so it's kind of the same.
Yeah, and I think it's nice to catch up once a week, and then you're not missing anything.
Yeah.
I think sometimes you miss it when it's twice a week. But anyway, thank you guys for watching, as always. If you're not subscribed, then please hit that subscribe button, like this video, leave a comment.
Such a bag.
This is what YouTubers do. I'm copying everyone else.
Bag.
I said that really confidently as well, yeah. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. We appreciate you. We love you. Bye.
Thanks.
See you next week.